Save 8% off your order at TruTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code. The excitement. We are back and live again. HVAC Shop Talk must be Saturday night. It's 8:30-ish. We're close. I think we're pretty close. I actually set it up for 8:35. Always fashionably late, my friends. That's exactly right. That's what we do here. So I want to welcome, let's see here. We have Michael Hausch, Hughesman HVAC. We have Frylock. That's our buddy Michael Bimco. Let's see who else we have. Me, Doug Crawl. Let's see. Anyone else out there in the chat, go ahead and chat so we can highlight you and make you famous here today. Dozens of people are going to see you. We have Ed. Oh, we have his name, Genowiak, something like that. I know you're an educator, and I see educators have popped up, so we must have an educated guest. That's my mathematical analysis of this. If we have an educated guest, we get educators for some reason. So I feel like we're doing good here. We're doing really good. So we have Dennis, Old Handy Luke is also joining us. So guys, just want to go over like some of our administrative stuff here at the beginning. First and foremost, this show is going to have a twist and turn in it a little bit later where the skill trade-up is going to be very different, but someone will be winning a Navac 7CFM vacuum pump here tonight. If you don't believe me, here's a picture of one. Hold on a second. There it is right there. That looks like a stock photo, but that is an exact representation of what you might win later tonight. So, all right. And this is what my son's face would look like if he saw that pump. That's exactly what he would look like right there. That's right. The hair is that red for real. That's how red his hair is. So Mike Cianfrocco is here. We have Daniel Alvarado. We have, oh, he wants the vacuum pump. Yeah, you do want that vacuum pump. It's awesome. So we'll go over how to win that a little bit later. I'm going to have to explain exactly what's going to happen because it's going to be a little bit different, okay? So, I mean, I like to shake things up. I shake them up constantly. No one can even find time to stand still. I'm shaking things up so often. So just tune in for that. I have a great disclaimer that goes with the show and everything. So, but tonight we're going to have Genry Garcia is going to be with us in just a moment. Very smart guy from Miami, Florida. We're going to be talking about some very interesting stuff, guys, that you might not be thinking about when you go on service calls, looking at installs. Just he's going to bring up some really cool stuff, I think. And, you know, we want questions. That's something that we decided before the show. If you have a question, write it in all capital letters. I mean, it's not like you're screaming like a text or something, but you're in the live chat, so just write your all capital letters so we can see it. And let's see. Jason Hines is here. We have Ivan Hall. Ivan, it's good to see you again. Haven't seen you in a while. Shannon Knight says vacuum pumps suck. I see that. It's very funny, Shannon. Michael Orcutt. We have a lot of new names here. Hopefully we get a lot of new people joining up tonight. I think we're going to have a good time. This show will become a podcast next week. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday is when I've been releasing them. So whatever you hear as far as our interview will show up next Wednesday or Thursday if you want to take it on the truck with you. Of course, you can take the video there, but if you watch video in a truck while you're driving, the truck crashes. So, I mean, listen to a podcast. Be safe out there, guys. You know, all you got to do is wait a few extra days. And, of course, watch this over and over again so we get more views. If you haven't liked the video, like it. It does something good. I don't know what it is, but YouTube says it's good, so let's just do it. All right. That's enough of me talking, probably. I'm going to take a really quick break right here, and then we're going to bring in Genry. We're going to have a good conversation, so just stick around for about 30 seconds. You're going to see Genry with me. We are back, and I have Genry with me. Genry, what's happening, man?
What's going on, Zack?
See how laid back this is? You listen to the intro, it's very laid back.
We'll see.
But you're in Miami, Florida, so laid back might have a different definition, you know.
And I'm nervous enough for both of us. I promise.
You know, I always get nervous before these things too. I mean, a little bit. In fact, that heightens it a little bit as far as the anticipation. I think it's a lot of fun, but once it gets going, it's like, well, whatever. What was I nervous about? I think we'll be fine.
Right.
So, what could be better than, you know, getting to know you personally here? Like what I like to call it, the story, like the 2-minute story of your HVAC life. Go ahead and hit it. Let us know what it's all about. How'd you get here?
How did I get here? I changed a lot of filters, flushed a lot of drain lines. I still crawl through enough attics to tell people about it. And nothing. Started down as a helper, worked my way up. Now I'm a business owner. I'm an HVAC contractor in Miami, Florida.
How long have you owned the business?
Since 04, I would say, about me, but I wasn't ready for that math. You know, I don't know. 17
That's a long
years.
time. 17 years. That's pretty much the whole time you've been in the U.S. pretty much, isn't it?
Exactly.
How long were you here before you started the business? Because that's pretty good. You started pretty quickly.
My own business?
Yeah.
Probably 5 years too late. The name of my business is Comfort Dynamics in Miami, and it's been up since 2015, but I've really been working on it just for the last three and a half years, maybe going on to 4.
Wow. Well, I assuming you're doing plenty of AC calls, so you're doing residential, commercial. Where are you at in the market?
Mostly residential. As of late, in the last year, it's been, I would say 60% home performance testing and things like that, and light commercial. I have quite a bit of that, actually. I have this big office building chain that I handle, that I take care of the buildings and the controls and a lot of ERF stuff that gives me a run for my money every time. But I'm managing.
So with the VRF stuff, saying give you a run for your money, it just it's so different than working on some of the previous systems that I'm used to a certain system, like, you know, regular unitary system. When I see one of those, it's almost a little intimidating until you kind of get into it, I think.
I haven't gotten into enough trouble to tell you that one thing or the other about it. It's so far it's been pretty simple stuff, boards, motors, things like that. I don't think I've had to date a real complicated issue that I haven't been able to scream about.
I haven't had a real complicated one either. I put in a few of these very simple mini splits, and the problems that I've had, the blinks on the board solved the problem. All I had to do was read the blink, so it was pretty cut and dry. So I was, you know, happy about that. So you've been in business for several years, been building up your client base, doing 60% home performance. Now, when you started the business, is that something you thought would happen, or is that something that you kind of got into along the way?
No, I knew very little of it. I had this passion for it, you know. I always was curious about this side, and I think it was a natural path for me to eventually, you know, go down to it, you know, because it's, as we're gonna come to you know, to expand on, it's almost never the HVAC. You know?
Right.
It's almost never the HVAC. So, I mean, HVAC is fairly straightforward, you know, pretty much for the most part. But just looking at a house as a system, it's what really gets you out of trouble, and what really gets you over the top when it comes to solving comfort complaints and just really hard stuff that, or stuff that is perceived as really hard, but it really ain't all that.
Well, you said something I've heard a lot. The house is a system, and I've heard a lot. Not in the first. I first got into HVAC in the summer times, working with my dad back in the mid '90s, and I started my company in 2009. I didn't really hear the house as a system until just a few years ago. So I never thought of it that way. I didn't. I thought of here's the machine. I did include the ductwork in my estimation of what could be wrong. I didn't just have the machine, but I never thought of the house as a whole. I mean, how did you get turned on to thinking that way? Because I was raised in a way you don't think like that until you read something or listen to somebody talk about it or something.
Well, coming on to this service calls, sometimes not, not my own jobs. Sometimes I'm helping out some friends, builders, just they're working directly with clients, things like that. So we've been, as HVAC pros, we've been conditioned to just get our head around the HVAC equipment, the boxes, right? The stuff that contains the compressor, the coils, the controls, things like that, fan motors, and just make sure that that there's got to be something wrong with that, right? We got to be able to figure out what's wrong with that. As of late, and now especially with the inclusion of Measure Quick, it doesn't take that long to figure it out. To figure out if there's something wrong with that or not. Once you deploy your probes, it only takes 20-30 minutes for the system to stabilize, and it tells you, you're good to go, you're not good to go, you got this issue, you got this other issue. So HVAC troubleshooting has become exceedingly simple. I feel it's certainly much more simple now than it was when I was doing troubleshooting, for example, and without the assistance of smart probes and software and things like that.
Yeah, see, with the Measure Quick, you have those there's flags it throws up. I can't remember if they're flags or check marks or X marks or what, but it gives you those different levels of problems, and I think it even prioritizes the worst problems, if I recall correctly, and like lists all of them.
Yeah.
So you think, based on you using that, and this is a question I wanted to ask just any Measure Quick user, those red flags it gives you, most of the time they're pretty accurate?
Yes.
Well, I think that's very helpful, especially for. Okay, let me ask you another follow-up question. If you were back brand new, would you say get this software to help you learn more about the trade?
Yes. I don't know if learn more about the trade. It will certainly make the learning curve flatter. It won't take you as much. It won't take you as long to figure things out and to actually solve problems. It will maybe hold you back in the sense that you will never learn it the hard way, and learn it in a way where you have to get a solid understanding of the basics of the refrigeration cycle and electricity and things like that, to then from there expand and get to do diagnosis and things like that. But I mean, that was probably the same thing that the guy who invented the calculator heard from the people selling abacus. So
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The big abacus companies were very irritated with that.
They were
guy.
like, oh, it's gonna make you dumb. Yeah.
Sure, digital. Now you don't have to use your arm to move the things back and forth. You're going to atrophy your muscles. I can see it now.
There goes all the arthritis morning.
Yeah. I can kind of understand though, since I didn't learn. Measure Quick wasn't around when I was learning all this stuff. So learning it the hard way definitely was. It was productive in a sense, although it was often embarrassing as well. At least for me, making a fool of myself trying to troubleshoot things. So, but it's good. Maybe the sales guys can use Measure Quick to expedite their go up the ladder to sales, and they can kind of coast through service and get there.
That'll be the day.
Yeah. A tip for you sales guys out there: get Measure Quick. Make your life easier. We know you're not reading books. We can.
Yep.
So let's get more about the. You told me when we met the other day about testing pressures. This is really what intrigued me. How you go into a house and test pressures without taking the tools off the truck. I would like you to kind of lay out what it is you kind of told me the other day, because I thought it was very interesting, your method.
Okay, so it's a typical service call for me. You walk in, oh, the AC doesn't work. There are a few things you want to be on the lookout for. First, you want to rule out the equipment, obviously. You're going to want to throw your probes in there, get your measure quick going, spend your $5, which is, more than reasonable, and get your report going. From there, if there is in fact any issues with the equipment, you'll see them. If they're not, which is mostly the case for me, when it comes to these jobs, a handful of people have been through there, and they're all HVAC techs mainly, so good ones at that, I would say. And the equipment has been ruled out, and that's normally why I'm there. So I generate my report, get that out of the way, make sure that HVAC is running the way it's supposed to be. Then I bring my precision manometer. And when I say manometer, I just want to make the distinction. It's a precision manometer. Basically, anything that you can buy from the Energy Conservatory or Resertec will be a precision manometer. I'm not sure, aside from that, what else can you get out there that would give you these readings? You need to read in the very, very fine Pascal scale. So it has to be something good. A few $100.
Steve Rogers is actually in the chat. So he's the guy from the Energy Conservatory. He's down there right now.
What's up, Steve?
And just to reinforce, if anyone has any questions during the show, just write them in all caps. It's easier to see. I'm kind of going back and forth just to check real quick. But if you have those questions, put them in there. But sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, man.
So basically, I just carry around my manometer, my precision manometer, a little bit of tubing, and sometimes a stainless steel tube that I need to squeeze in between door jambs and things like that. I will pick out an exterior door or window, something that's easy, and I will just put it there. And you connect the manometer, turn it on. You want to measure the pressure of the house with relation to outside. So you want to leave the quote unquote positive or input label port open, and then the reference port you want to connect it to the tube referencing the outside pressure. At this point, now I get to talk to the client, right? Just getting to know the problem a little bit. Okay, so tell me more about your issues. And the whole time I'm looking at, I'm going back and forth with the manometer, just starting to see what the pressure in the house is. So basically, the reason why most of the house as a system diagnosis items are missed is because we don't realize that we are living in a piece of ductwork, I should say.
Right.
Okay. The house is nothing more than a piece of duct, right? It's the duct that connects the supply side to the return side. And how do you troubleshoot ductwork? You check the pressure on it, right? It's a low, it's a high. Is it a return duct? Okay. Is the pressure negative? Is the supply duct? Okay. Is the pressure positive? If it's a supply duct, it shouldn't have a positive. It shouldn't have a negative pressure, and vice versa. So that's how you treat it. So once you are referencing the pressure on the house, once you are testing the pressure on the house with reference to outside, I would go through different practices. I could turn the HVAC on, right? And if I turn the HVAC on, the pressure in the house should drop a little bit as you cool down the air. Talking about cooling and dehumidification. Mm-hmm. As you cool down the air, it'll lose specific volume. So it'll have less specific volume. So the pressure in the house will drop, but not much. You don't want to see normally, more than 1 Pascal due to that. If you turn on the HVAC and the pressure in the house plummets, goes negative, there's something wrong. If the pressure in the house goes positive, there's something wrong. We're assuming that you don't have any mechanical ventilation activator at this time, right? You also want to make sure that the exhaust fans and of any kind, bathroom, kitchen, whatever it is, they're off at this point. So by just having the manometer referencing the pressure giving you the pressure of the house with reference to outside, with the HVAC running, that's telling us right there if we potentially have a predominantly leaky supply or a predominantly leaky return. There are a lot of variations to that. That's not written in stone like that. I could say, for example, let's say you have a known leakage on the return side. If you have a known leakage on the return side and you turn the HVAC on, you have to expect the pressure in the house to go positive, assuming that that return duct is running through an unconditioned space like it is in my market, mostly attics. Okay, if we have them. So if you have a piece of ductwork of return duct that's going through an unconditioned space, and you turn the HVAC on, and the pressure in the house goes negative, anything below 2 pascals is too much. Okay, then that means you have a supply side. I mean, you have a supply side air leakage. We were talking about return before. I kind of jumped from there. So if it goes negative, you have a supply side leakage. If it goes positive, then you have a return side leakage. So, but let's just say that you do have a known return leakage. You could have, you could have very well just created it. You can, cut a little piece of the duct, or open an access door or whatever, just to create that condition. If you know that you have a return side leakage number, right, and you run the HVAC, that house better go negative when you do that. If you do that and the house doesn't go negative, it stays balanced, then you have a problem on the supply air side as well. Because if you have a problem on the return side, that house should go negative. If the pressure in the house is balancing itself, then that means you're leaking as much air on the supply as much as you're leaking return air into the unit.
Can I stop you? I'm going to ask you a few questions based on what you said. So did I hear it right that when you first arrive to the house, you do get a reference pressure without the system running?
Yes, and that is not something that I do. Like, I normally don't, outline the procedure that I'm going to use. If I'm going to take it from the beginning, like when I walk into the house, the first thing I do is I note if the HVAC is running. Is the AC running? Okay, so I look at my watch, make a note of the time. And I come in and I start talking to the people, doing my pleasantries, introducing myself, things like that. And the whole time I'm hearing the AC running. If that AC stops and I see that it ran for less than 10 minutes, for example, I sure hope that AC unit was running for a long time before I got in. Because otherwise that means there's a problem.
Right.
Even better, if I walk in and the HVAC is not running and it happens to turn on while I'm there, that's even better, because you get to clock the on cycle from the actual time it comes on. If you walk into a house and you look at the thermostat, it is set to 60 and it's set to 65, and it's still uncomfortable, I want my money back. I'm very upset. I'm gonna call a credit card company to cancel the payment. All these things are going on. It's normally an indicator that is either very bad thermostat location or is a grossly oversized piece of equipment.
They're enjoying their 5-ton unit.
Yeah, on a 2,400 square foot house.
That's right. Another thing I wanted to kind of reinforce, you say whenever the AC's running, you're having that air cooled and the specific volume of the air decreases. So you should expect a slight negative pressure.
Yeah.
1 pascal, or I guess
I
1
don't
pascal.
like to see more than 1 pascal. Normally I don't see, if you don't have ductwork issues, 1 pascal, it would be the maximum you'll see with the HVAC running. And that is after a little while, when enough of the volume in the house, it contains colder air than warmer.
Now, 1 pascal for reference, and do I have this right? It's like 1/250th of a PSI, so it's very small. Is that right?
I know I feel pretty confident. Maybe Steve can correct us on this, but I feel pretty confident that 25 pascals is one. It's
okay,
0.1
maybe
inch.
that's what it was.
So,
25.
Right.
Okay, so it's a small unit of
it's
measure.
A very fine measurement. That's why the manometer is so expensive. But it is to the way I see it, for what I do, it is completely irreplaceable tool that I have.
And this is something like, what are they, like the DG 800, 700, 800,
I believe,
like that?
Right. I mean, so if you go with Retrotech right now, the what's available right now is the DM32. That's about $1,500. Same thing with the DG1000 from the Energy Conservatory, but they do have out the DG8, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in the $500 range.
Yeah,
I have.
Right.
It is my understanding, I hope I'm not breaking any rules here, that Retrotech has it in their roadmap to develop, to actually present the Blue Stick, which is the single channel precision manometer too, that they should be coming out with.
Hey, we can get that confirmed here real quick. He's out here. He says 1 inch of water column is 248 pascals.
There you go.
Okay, well, I was sort of close with 250, just the wrong unit. So I guess I was wrong then, actually. Okay, so I wanted the cold air effect is what I'll call it. So guys would understand that, why you'd see a slight negative pressure. Now, I'm going to ask you a question based on what you just said. We used to do houses back in the day that were these very nice Energy Star houses that were called ICF houses, with like concrete, styrofoam walls, had very little heat loss and gain. Now, when you go into a house like that, when you have a small system but maybe a large square footage because of the heat loss and gain, now are you still going to see that negative effect? Do you see these effects of air pressure diminish because the system is so small as far as its airflow?
It's not that it's diminished. It's just that it takes longer to get there, but it will get there.
Okay, so just a little bit longer wait
Yeah.
to get the same effect. Okay, so return and supply leakages, we got that part right there. Okay, now was that the whole procedure? I mean, you do exhaust fans too as well, testing
So
those?
it's sometimes it will literally be too windy to get a stable reference pressure, right, from outside.
Right.
There are a couple of ways you can deal with this. Depending on what tool you're using, you can either extend the time averaging of the reading, or the tube that you actually take outside, you can split it in two. You can tee off in two sections in opposite directions, and it'll give you a better reading. Or something that I've used with decent level of success is you actually get an empty water bottle. Make sure that there's no water in it that can get into the tubing. And then just insert the tubing into the bottle of water, into the water bottle, and then you just put it outside with the cap open. And that would help you with the wind effect.
I gotcha. So you get kind of like a static pressure without the velocity pressure of the wind. Interesting, because down there, Category 5 hurricanes every other year.
And it's right, and it's not only so much. It's not only so much that. So the wind itself is not only affecting the pressure as referenced by the tube, but also affecting the pressure of the house, right? So when you have wind-driven pressures that affect a building, that pressure variation will be read on the manometer, even if you're not getting any noise, turbulence to the reference tube.
That's understandable.
So right.
It's very small.
Those are kind of extreme cases, but it's definitely possible. If you have a garage, you're golden. An unconditioned garage, just open the garage door and put your tube to the garage. That's it. It doesn't get any more wind mitigating than that.
Well, that's true.
For the outside pressure.
I know my buddy Joe Shearer down in Florida, he says a lot of the systems are already in the garage, so you're already in there anyway, kind of wandering around. So how often do you not even have to diagnose, or maybe not diagnose, but how often do you not have to treat the HVAC system, but you have to treat the house? How often does that become the number one issue?
Well, I always treat the HVAC system, but I spend very little time, for the most part. I spend very little time with the HVAC itself. Most of my time it's invested in looking at a house as a system. If indeed the HVAC doesn't have an issue. Most of these complaints come from people that have just invested thousands of dollars on their new HVAC equipment. So on top of the fact that this equipment is new, and on top of the fact that 5-6 people have been through there, it is extremely rare to find something wrong with the HVAC itself, other than it being oversized.
Right, application problem.
Yeah.
Instead of HVAC problem. So, I mean, what do you tell your customer, just for people listening out here? Because I think that's a pretty universal issue with people oversizing the HVAC system. What do you tell your customers? Do you tell them they have to replace the system in order to get the perfect balance?
No, not like that anyways.
Not as blunt, a nicer, salesy type of way.
It is. So you got to ask some questions. You got to ask. You couldn't possibly ask too many questions. How important is it for you to fix this problem? How bad is it to make this issue go away? How would you rate it? It depends on how they answer to that and how ready they are to do something about it. Then from there, you can offer them different paths to go down to. You can just tell them, well, we can do a manual J calculation, blower door itself too, a blower door test too. and we can get to the bottom of this. I can tell you exactly if your equipment is oversized and oversized by how much, and I can tell you what can we do about it, depending on your level of pain. I was going to say desperation, but that's not the right word.
Financial pain.
Right. Depending on your level of, you know, depending on your level of urgency to resolve this item. I'm normally there as a third party, so there's not much I can say without getting in trouble. But the math doesn't lie. I just offer, to do a low calculation, and most of the time we've been doing that. And once that comes through, it is pretty much out of my hands. Now, that is as a third party consultant. If I'm dealing directly with the client, I, 8 out of 10 times I would say we get something done. We either, take a path to solve that issue in a way or another.
And I'm guessing the number
a path
one
chosen by the client itself, I might add.
Right.
Yeah.
Number one issue is oversized system.
Oh my God, by leaps and bounds.
Now, give me a rough feel for maybe the extent of the issue. As far as, are we talking like these are like 1.5 tons oversized, 20-30% oversized?
I would say nominal capacity anywhere between 1 and 1.5 tons.
That's amazing, 1.5 tons.
Mm-hmm.
And you were telling me that even though you see, if I have this right, you see larger systems put in by other people that you're going out to, that you typically don't put in 4 to 5 ton systems very much at all.
No, like we were talking about that, right? So I get these emails. I've been getting these emails from my weapon of choice distributor, I should say, the brand that I like to use, that they're out of stock in 4 and 5 ton models. And that, honestly, my man, it makes me sad a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I have a few low calculations with blower doors and duct leakage values involved, and I don't think I've come up with a single 5 ton for an average residential home.
Yeah.
Very few 4 ton. So the concept that they don't have 4 and 5 ton, because obviously that's the one that sells the most, it is a little sad.
Yeah. It's scary. Hey, good for your business. I mean, you just got to wait a few years till people say, what's the deal?
Honestly, it would be even better for my and everybody's business if people caught on to this. Competition is good.
Yeah. You're right.
Competition is very good for business.
Well, I had a friend that lived in Florida. He's the one that I said, he said the 12 months of summer in Florida is what he enjoyed. I think he was from the Miami area. He used to text or put up a post on social media or something of advertisements of people exchanging either I don't think it was the whole system. I think it was condensers for like $2,500 or $2,000, and he acted like it was very, very common down there. So evidently, there's an entire class of contractor down there that is bypassing this learned system that we're trying to put into place.
No, yes, it is. It's actually, and come to think of it this way. So why is the house as a system? So why people pay me, right? Because depending on who you're asking, I dare say I'm not on the cheap side of what it's being charged for these services, right? So why do people pay contractors like me, whether that's a builder or another HVAC contractor or a client directly? People are not, HVAC contractors are not looking at houses as a system. They walk into a house and they've been conditioned from trade school or from their mentor or from their 35 years of experience. I hear that a lot. All these factors that their deal is the HVAC, the box. What's it doing? What's it not doing? If it's fine, well, we're gonna have to call an engineer. Okay. So for whatever reason, we have managed as HVAC contractors to get a grasp, to wrap our head around the fact that we are gonna remove heat from a conditioned space at 75 degrees with 100-degree liquid refrigerant leaving the condenser. Somehow that's normal for us. And by the same token, we have suction gas coming back to the compressor at 55 degrees but loaded with heat from what we removed from the return air inside the house, right? On the evaporator coil. So we are going to cool down a space with 100-degree liquid refrigerant, and we're going to reject heat from refrigerant of 55 degrees outdoor to where it's 90 degrees. Now, granted, it doesn't work like that. We have a metering device and we have a compressor that's going to raise the pressure, and the metering device is going to lower the pressure, and therefore the saturation temperature and all these things. But if you think about all these moving parts, that is complex enough. That is very complex. If in the grand scheme of things, if you sit down a person, a very smart person, and you tell them, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to explain you the refrigeration cycle. It's piece of cake. I do it 5 times a day. It's you'll see. It's really cool, right? And you go through all these moving functions. You start explaining compression ratio, and then you got to start factoring in the pitch of the fan blade on the condenser, so you make sure you're moving enough air through the condenser, through the condenser fins, and all of these things, and make sure that we read the wet bulb temperature of the return air, so we know how much latent heat we're impacting that evaporator coil with. We explain all these things, right? And that person's, though it's smart, they might say, okay, well, that's pretty cool, kind of high level, but okay, it's pretty cool. But now let me tell you something. House as a system. So house as a system is nothing more than nature's intent to seek balance, right? High pressure content travels to low pressure content, always, right? High temperature, high humidity, don't matter. High pressure content goes to low pressure content. Okay. Once those things stabilize, then we're talking about temperature differential and water vapor pressure differential to get into temperature, temperature transfer through conduction, radiation, or convection for that matter, or we have moisture migration through building materials and things like that. That's another story. But if we only focus on the house as a system concept, it is a heck of a lot simpler than the refrigeration cycle. And yet we understand the refrigeration cycle so well. We can do it with our eyes closed. Now we have Measure Quick to figure this out for us. And somehow we need to call an engineer to figure out why the house is positive or figure out why the house is negative. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. It's just practice and interest and being driven, for that matter. But I can tell you, apples to apples, looking at a house as a system, it is significantly simpler, at least the basis of it, than to understand something like the refrigeration cycle, where when you come to think of it, it's completely counterintuitive.
It's interesting. So we just need a Measure Quick House Edition. Is really all we need. I'm sure that update's coming pretty soon.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. So let me ask you something. Incorporating this line of thinking, this whole thought process, as including the house in the whole scope of the HVAC system, is that something that we should have always done, or is that an expansion out of HVAC?
No, excellent point. So Caleb, I don't know, you know Caleb, you've heard of him?
I've heard of him, yes.
Right. So Caleb wrote this incredible article the other day, not long ago. He actually wrote 2. So the first one was how he was explaining how he's actually a trainer at a local trade school, and he is introducing, oversized systems and pressure imbalances and house as a system concepts to his training. He's not expecting, at least that's the way I took it, he's not expecting his students to learn this or to understand this, right? But he's just putting it out there so they know it exists, right? So I've been to a few trade schools. I went to trade school myself. I've never heard of that, right? So, and then I think on the following one, he went on to explain mean radiant temperature and how he's explaining that to his students as well. I probably went on 10 years in the field before I ever heard of mean radiant temperature. And then I heard of it the first couple of times and was like, that's just something that some real smart people worry about. I just need to make sure I got enough refrigerant in the truck in case someone has a leak.
That's it right there.
So
how much for
exactly. So all these things have always existed. So if we just begin to think of it as part of what we do, Now we can incorporate other things. We can incorporate high-end testing. We can incorporate, tighter load calculations. We can, always, we can evolve and develop enough trust and enough confidence in ourselves that when we specify equipment, we go with the smallest defensible load. That's actually written in Manual J in a sentence in the first few pages. Go with the lowest defensible load. And even at that, sometimes you end up a little bit over what the house really needs. If you use data logging thermostats and things like that. It's like what I was just talking to the folks from ZOA the other day, and they use the hashtag better HVAC. And they take a few steps beyond that, but it starts with that. We're looking at a house as a system. If you look at the HVAC alone, you're never gonna get out of that vicious circle. And it is intimidating because it is this new concept, and it's this thing that folks just never heard about. And I've been in these houses, and I've been in these meetings with the company owner and the service manager and the best tech and everybody and their parents there, right? And when I start showing them these things, one thing I do is, okay, let's turn on the exhaust fan, right? So I go and I turn off an exhaust fan. That house better go negative when that happens, and it does, right? Even the crappiest working exhaust fan will get the house down, right? So when the exhaust fan gets the house down, gets the house negative, and we turn on the HVAC, that house the pressure in the house better not drift up to a more positive number, because there's no reason for that to be happening if you don't have supply ventilation. If you only have exhaust ventilation, there's no reason why the pressure in the house should be going up. Not unless you have a return side leakage. And that is the same, and that is the same for the supply. If the supply side it's leaking, then you're going to have to see the pressure plummet even more. So once you give them a known set of conditions, okay, so exhaust fans suck. They blow air out of the space, hopefully outside. So that means the pressure in your space should go down. If I turn on this fan on the air handler or the HVAC, any HVAC, right? That pressure better stay down, because if it's not staying down, then that means you have an issue.
And the issue is you have leakage that's overcoming your exhaust fan.
Exactly. Do you have enough leakage to offset these things? Like if you walk, so in my area, we don't have a lot of return ductwork, right? And I say that loosely because what we have is, we have regular air handlers inside for residential, regular air handlers inside what we call a free return closet, right? Or a free return application. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? When you close up the louver door in that closet, that louver door becomes your return air grill. And that closet becomes your return air duct. So let me ask you something. Is your return air duct dusty? Because if it is, then that better be related to the house being well kept. Because if the house is being well kept, and if the house that you've been going there for years, and you put in this unit, and this closet is dusty, my man, you got leakage in that closet. And if you do this next time you that are watching this, next time that you walk into a house, do this. So walk into one of these return air closets and look up where the line set comes down. There's gonna be a little hole there, right? There's gonna be a little opening, right? Most of these closets don't have baseboards, so you're gonna have some leakage around where the drywall is terminated on the floor, okay, and around where the ductwork, where the blunt penetration goes into the attic. If you have all these things, then you have every reason for this house to go positive when the HVAC runs.
True. Yeah.
So how can you know this? I don't have $600 for a manometer, but somehow I spend money on all those other things that I hardly ever use, right? And I don't mean to come off wrong like that. I'm just saying this is a more valuable tool that you could expect to. So when even if you don't have a number, get a match. A smoke pan, it's what, $20-$30? Mm-hmm. That can be purchased anywhere. Put it by the front door and just crack the front door barely. If those conditions hold true, then the smoke should be leaving the house. If the smoke is not leaving the house, then you have enough supply air side leakage to go along with the leakage that provides that those penetrations provide into the closet where the air handler is. Do you follow? Does that make sense?
I do. Yes.
So these are all things that if once you wrap your hand around these things, it's not so difficult. It's just nature seeking balance. Man, like we walk to transformers that you can use 460 volts, 230 volts, or we can use 115 volts and it spits out 24 volts in the other side. And when you ask, a decent, not even have to be a lead tech or anything like that. Why that happens? It was like, well, because there's a ratio in between the primary winding and the secondary winding. That's how you get less voltage here than you get here, depending on the input. That's harder. That's harder to understand because you don't wind up those transformers. You don't work at the place where these transformers are being done. That is something that very true and very useful. Don't get me wrong, but that is something you read in trade school, you read in a book, or you learned the hard way somewhere, right? And now you have to apply it. Just thinking of all these things: refrigeration cycle, ECM technology, electrical, basic electrical understanding. All these things. If you're watching this and you're doing HVAC for a living, and you want to know what would it take to take it to the next level, it just takes patience and attention to these type of details that are always there. Because if you once you catch on to it, you're gonna see this everywhere. This stuff is everywhere. Every single house, at least at every single house that has a comfort complaint. So have you ever walked into a house and the master bedroom was the warmest room in the house? And then you walk into the master bedroom, it has two vents, two huge vents, where they're blowing down, I don't know, 150, 175 CFMs each. There's no reason for that room to be warm. Let's do this. Set your manometer on an exterior opening, door, window, whatever. Look at the pressure on the house. Ma'am, could you close that door for me? Close the door. If they close that door, the pressure in the house shouldn't change. Because if the pressure in the house changed, then that means they don't have enough return air path from that isolated room to the rest of the house where the main return is. Or even if they have a direct ducted return to the unit, that return is not big enough to handle all the supply air. That eventually is gonna dwindle down to whatever the unit can get back. But that's what's going to happen. So think about it. You have a house that it's at 1 Pascal, or let's say negative Pascal. Let's make it simpler. Let's just say it's at 0. Okay. So it's a path to follow. So let's say the house is at 0. If the house is at 0 and the HVAC is running, that tells you that you either have enough leakage on the return to go with whatever leakage you might have on the supply, or you have neither one of each, because that means the house is balanced.
Right.
Okay. So if you can inspect, so what is the shortest duct? Normally the return side, right? So if you can inspect the return air side and you can establish with enough confidence that you don't have leakage in the return and the pressure in the house is 0, guess what? You probably don't have leakage in the supply. That's how that goes. But what happens if you go and close a bedroom door, any door, laundry room, whatever, and the pressure in the house plummets, goes down, then that means that now the HVAC has been forced to pull air through every crack and crevice that it has to pull to compensate for whatever air is not getting back from that room where you close the door on. And now you get to say to your landlord, let me guess, your master bedroom is the warmest room in the house. Oh my God, yes. Chuck, get the checkbook. We got to pay this guy to figure this out. So that's normally how it goes. If you were, and I cannot emphasize this enough. As HVAC pros, we already understand much harder concepts, and it's nothing. It's like a game to us. Superheat, subcooling, discharge line temperature. We got all these things that we just look at it and intuitively. I'm sorry. Can you help me with that word? Intuitively, we know what it means, right? You need a new TXV. Oh yeah. Sometimes.
Every call.
Right. So we figure this out. We figure these things out by just looking at it. We don't even need measure quick sometimes for these things. But somehow, Mrs. Jones' bedroom being warm, it's a matter of adding another supply. You don't even know how much air you have coming out of there to begin with. So how do you know you need more? You don't even know how much air do you need to begin with. So how do you know you need more? So it all starts with
That's how I know.
right. So that's how the path to better understanding of troubleshooting and diagnosing problematic homes starts. Then there's things like blower doors and duct testers and things like that. They're sure. I mean, they're immensely helpful, but now we're talking about that's a different level, and you may or may not want to get there. I would recommend it, highly recommend it, but you don't even need to get all that far. If you're just doing basic understanding of what's going on in this house, I mean, you can find out a lot by just doing that.
I'm listening to what you're saying, so I'm writing down a few things that I'd like to ask you or discuss with you. So one of the things that we would have done to test total capacity loss of a duct. So we take temperatures on a duct, but it doesn't differentiate between leaking and just natural gain from being in a hot space like an attic or something like that. So you just having the manometer actually will isolate that issue from having regular temperature effect on a duct, like a return duct.
Exactly.
So it's less painful to do your stuff than do the temperature on duct anyway.
And easier. It's more beneficial. I mean, how many times you need to access that? How many points you need to access this duct to get to an understanding of this? Maybe not so many. Maybe a few. It depends on what you're dealing with. Yeah. But with this thing, and I don't mean to say that this is an absolute approach and everything else should be thrown out the door. This is just a one way to do it. It's what I would consider the starting point of looking at the house as a system and approaching comfort complaints.
No, I think the step that I know a lot of us have missed is never being exposed to devices that even measure this fine of a measurement. So I think not having not like the device makes the man, but not being able to see the effect because we have a manometer that measures in water column or something like that. So we don't see that minute measurement. So it's almost like it doesn't exist. It's out of mind, and no one's ever told us about it.
Exactly. On that note, if you tried, I'm telling you this because I've gone through this, unfortunately. If you try to do this with your average manometer that you use to check static pressure and such, that is what, at that final measurement, that thing just becomes a random number generator because it doesn't know what it's reading. It's not capable of doing such a thing. So that would probably end up leading you down the wrong path, if nothing else. Like, you're better served with a smoke tracer than one of those manometers to do these things. And I don't mean to put anybody down, anything like that. It's just the reality of it. Having the right tool for the job is essential, but I will put it to you this way. I played a lot of baseball as long as I could. Loved the sport. Wasn't blessed with the talent, but I loved the sport. I spent a lot of money on really, really expensive bats. My batting average never went up because of any bat. So it's sure the tool helps, but you still got to hit the ball.
That's right.
You still got to hit the ball. So and this concept of hitting the ball, what I'm coming from is it's the understanding of what you're doing. Okay, so you got high pressure going to low pressure. Why do I have low pressure? This house is sealed. It shouldn't have that low of a pressure. It shouldn't have that high of a pressure. Okay, so why is it? I have this big hole in this duct, on this return air duct that it's leaking in. Why is this house balanced? It should be positive. I have the kitchen exhaust fan running. I don't know, call it 200 CFM to put it mildly, right? So if you have 200 CFM on exhaust, why isn't this house just going crazy down negative when I run the HVAC? It's because you have enough return air duct leakage to offset that exhaust pressure. I can tell you from actually testing it and having done the math that in say 2,000 to 2,400 square foot house, an HVAC induced pressure of negative 2 pascals is the equivalent of almost 200 CFM of leakage.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, which brings us to almost another concept that this is maybe a little bit more advanced, but just it kind of tells onto the what we were talking about. So let's say that you have supplier leakage worth 150 CFM, right? Let's say that you have a 3-ton system in there, okay? And this 200 CFM with a 3-ton system, it's enough to depressurize your home 2 pascals with all the doors open, 2 pascals, right? What do you think is going to happen if Mr. Salesman of the Year comes in and sells them a 4-ton, a 5-ton? Instead of 150 CFM, now you're going to have 250 CFM, which is going to bring the pressure on the house lower. Now it cools even less than when we had the 3-ton. What's going on here? Let's move. This house is haunted. That's real though. That's real.
Oh yeah.
That's you cannot HVAC your way out of a poor envelope, not in a energy efficient way, anyways. You cannot HVAC your way out of that. You know, you can throw a couple of dehumidifiers at it, and sure, you'll catch it. But guess what's going to happen to the energy bill, to the utility bill? It's going to go up for that much.
What you're saying is that if you exacerbate one of these leaks, make it worse by increasing the size of the machine, you're going to get more infiltration. It's going to overcome the ability to treat the load.
The actual delivered capacity will be less.
Yeah, just when you quantify like the whole thing together.
Right, because now you have more load and less capacity because you're losing more air.
As I recall, we talked about manual J's. I don't remember the specific number, but when you have infiltration of air that's hot and humid, just the sheer amount of energy in that air, it doesn't take a whole lot to really wreck things in a house.
It doesn't. And the thing, because most systems are oversized, we are quote unquote almost masking these things and changing like for like and all these things. And we are digging the hole deeper for ourselves. And this is not to say that you shouldn't replace air conditioners without looking at all these things, because you got to make a living, you know. And if someone says to you, hey, I want to buy an air conditioner, I want the same 4-ton that you're taking out, what are you going to do? You're going to sell them the 4-ton. I know I would, you know. It's no, you offer them to
pretty universal. When you're in the situation, you say, okay, yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
You offer them to do better. If they don't want to do better, then you can do better. Because what you shouldn't do it is for free. That's for sure. Is that, you know, you'll live to regret that.
How many of these issues that you face, if they would have done proper manual J, would be non-existent?
Well, it depends. I mean, there's no manual J you can do for a leaky duct system.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because you still have that same issue.
So if you don't have an excessive HVAC driven pressure differential in an envelope, proper manual J. For me, a proper manual J, it's almost always 90%. And if you can keep your HVAC running at least 20 minutes per cycle to hit steady state, and if a design condition, the unit hardly ever turns off, I don't see how you have any issues at all.
Yeah.
Not with this anyways.
How do you measure infiltration when you're doing a manual J?
Blower door.
So you have the actual number, you know, which is invaluable. So I don't know if you can tell us this offhand.
I'm gonna catch some heat for this. That's all right.
That's okay. Sometimes things are said on this show that people disagree, which is fine. I mean, if someone does disagree or contest some opinion, we can listen to that and maybe learn something. What kind of load? This is so generic. Infiltration load that you see where you're at. What is a common level of the load or percentage of the load to be just from that infiltration air?
To the total load?
Yeah, just, you know, roughly speaking, yeah.
No, I can give you some good numbers on that. Of the total load, roughly, I would put it 10% maximum, which is not a big deal. Of the total load.
Mm-hmm.
Of the latent load, it can double it. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
if it doubles it, if you, instead of having to remove 10,000 BTUs worth of latent, now you go to 20,000 BTUs worth of latent that you need to remove. Now your sensible heat ratios slid down from, say, 0.9 to 0.7. Now equipment selection becomes really, really critical. There are just some houses you can design for. Now, without giving them proper notice and proper warning and the opportunity to do better before you do it. But if the latent load is excessive, that's a hard one to bottle.
Well, you said equipment selection. Now, let me ask you something about that. When you install a system, are you looking at these charts for the equipment to see what the latent capacity of the system is?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's very common, though.
My man Ed Janowak, I picked up a lot of what I do from his practices. There's a lot of manufacturers, the good manufacturers, the one that matter anyways, they'll have either the charts or they'll have software within their access points as that we might have as contractors, where we can calculate these things. We can actually change the temperature design points, and it'll give us how much sensible and how much latent we can do, or a given system can do from there.
Mm-hmm. Do you design systems specifically to a customer's desire? Like temperature, like, you know how there's like standard designs that you could, like, say at 75 indoor, at 55% or 50% or something. Is there a customer that says, I like to keep it 68, I want it to function well, design a system for 68?
I design a system for a customer's budget, mainly. Let's say budget is not an issue and they have enough money to throw at this thing so it works. I would make sure that I have enough text messages and emails saying don't do this. But if that's what they do, if that's what they want, we can give it a shot. I wouldn't do it without supplemental dehumidification, though.
Yeah.
I'm not brave enough.
And they might not be the last person to live there, and they might not want it 68 degrees. So.
And guess what? Your name's going to be attached to the serial number of that machine.
That's right. That's right. I'm not calling this guy.
Nah.
Let's see here.
And then guess what the next guy is going to say? Oh, yes, I've heard of that guy. I've seen him in YouTube. He knows so much. Look at what he did to you.
Yeah. This is all a charade. Yeah. No kidding. He doesn't know anything. Let's see. We got if we have any questions, anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask them. Looks like a series of educators is what we have chatting over here. So if anyone has any questions or any points that you think we should hit, go ahead and put it in the chat over there, because we're going to be wrapping up here in a second. We've been going for an hour already. That's wild. See, no big deal, right? An hour goes by just like that. Mm-hmm. It's quick. I know I wrote down a bunch of things here, but now I don't know. I think I already asked you those, and I was going to ask you, just as a point, because you were talking about it, just more of a matter of fact thing. You know, you're testing exhaust fans, and you turn the HVAC system on, and let's say you have an exhaust fan that's pushing 50 or 60 CFM. It's pretty common for a little bathroom. And you have a slight negative pressure in the house because this thing's been running. Your HVAC system turns on, and the pressure goes completely neutral. It's balanced out. Does that not quantify your amount of leakage? Because it's 60?
It gives you a pretty darn good idea.
Well, using that as an idea, if they have multiple exhaust fans and you have this sort of issue presenting itself with your system, you could turn on as many exhaust fans, make it go neutral, and then measure the system loss. Theoretically, because you don't know how much is actually pushing out.
Yes, well, we are assuming two things. We are assuming, one, that the fan is exhausted directly, the exhaust air is going directly outside, and two, instead of being vented to the attic, and two, you're assuming that the makeup air that you're getting back into the house to balance that house is not coming directly from the attic air that the exhaust fan is dumping up there.
You poked holes in my plan. I'm not going to use it now.
I've had a lot of practice.
It's fun just to kind of think about the different ideas that you could implement right here, because you're right. And how many of those exhaust fans, say 50 or 60 CFM, I think we did test this one time. actually push that much whenever you run that 3-inch duct all the way across the attic and over to the soffit, and it's like 15 CFM or 10 or something like that. Always interesting. It's just like whenever they have. Let me ask you this: whenever you put in a brand new system, ductwork and everything, are you testing the output as far as CFM to each room?
Yeah, I include a tap job, at the tap section at the end of each installation.
Test and balance, guys. Test and balance.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I'm just proud that I knew what it meant. So I wanted to let the guys know that I understood that.
See, there's so many complicated terms in HVAC that if you don't start using acronyms, you will eventually lose track of what you're saying. Start mixing them together too.
How do you measure the CFM? Do you use just a flow hood? Steve's listening. Steve, let's see what he says. Which model do you use? Where'd you get it?
The digital through flow is my weapon of choice, which hasn't even come out, so it's hard to imagine how I would know about that.
What the world? You got stuff that hasn't even come out yet? That
right,
seems impossible. It's like people buying movies that are still in the theater.
I'm from the future. You got a lot to look forward to with the digital true flow, I promise you. Okay, so total airflow, the true flow, it is the easiest and fastest way to do it.
The grid.
The grid, the true flow grid. So total external static pressure. Sure. You got to have good spots to measure it. And Eric Kaiser taught an incredibly good class about picking your spots to do static pressure at the symposium. So you might want to look that up.
Well, guess who's going to be on the show next week? Eric Kaiser.
There you go. There's something to talk about. All right. So total external static pressure, it's a good indicator when you can have good readings. If you cannot have good readings, then then you can be off by that much, right? So with a flow hood, you can get the airflow out of each vent, and then from there you can have an idea of how much air each your unit is moving if you add them all up. You got to know your tools though. You got to know your tools. You got to see what's the margin of error that you're gonna get for that true flow with that flow hood, and how much can you be off by. It would be nice to test it against a known value. A lot of the really, really expensive keep saying that. A lot of the really expensive flow hoods will have very, very bad accuracy at low flows, anything 50 and below. Basically, if you're gonna buy a flow hood, I would say save your money, get a power flow hood. It will be my recommendation. I have owned a few true flows before I ended up with my power flow hood, and now, I'm very, very confident with the numbers I put on my reports.
He has stuff from the future though, so that's not fair.
That's been out there. No, it's really expensive, but
But you probably have a flow hood from the future that you can't mention.
No.
Something like that. I know. I think there is a video by Steve Rogers, and he goes over these flow hoods at low volumes and I want to say intermediate volumes. I can't remember what it was. It was 50 CFM and something else, maybe like 100 or 150. But he broke down like 6 different flow hoods. And I believe it was the powered flow hood that wins the day.
That was one of the most disappointing experiences that I've had, because I had spent so much money in what I thought were that much accurate tools and realized that I was just spewing out gibberish most of the times.
Well, I watched his video, and as he was going through the testing, I just threw my CPS flow hood on the ground and kicked it.
It is. Imagine that.
Imagine that, yeah.
It's better than no. It's better than no flow hood, though.
No, you're right about that. You're absolutely right. No flow hood. And it was relatively accurate at the low volume, if I remember correctly. But at the higher volume, it was off a little bit.
It wasn't all about, yeah.
Yeah. Not all bad. That's right. That's what CPS flow hood motto. Not all bad. CPS flow hood. It's good advertisement. So I think we've come to the end here because we've been going for a while. I have enough written on this piece of paper to have another show again, so we'll probably have another show again sometime.
Sure.
Genry, it was a lot of fun, man. That was good, man.
Well, I'm not nervous anymore, so thank you. Appreciate that.
That's no problem. And so next time, come back in a few months probably. We'll bring you back. Go ahead and start talking about that. I'll go ahead and hook up with you after this and go ahead and plan for another visit.
I would greatly appreciate that. I would. It's been pretty cool. That's a good thing that you got going on here. I appreciate
It's a lot of fun too. It's just it's fun. You can learn stuff. It's fun. I mean, it's great. Saturday night we're all staying at our house and watching HVAC stuff. That's kind of sad in itself, but that's fine. I mean, you're probably just going to head over to your neighbor's house when you're done.
It is. It's pretty loud. Thank God you cannot hear there.
I can't hear it at all. I only know it's there because you told me it was there. I can't hear it.
It has died down a bit, but when we first linked up earlier this evening I didn't know what was going to happen, honestly.
Oh yeah, some of those things are a surprise, right there in the moment. So, all right, Genry, I'm gonna let you go, man, because we're gonna play a game here in a minute and have some fun. But I really appreciate it, man. It was awesome. Good to talk to you for the first time on air.
Thanks for having me, Zach. I look forward to the next one. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Take care, Genry.
Bye.
Genry, very, very interesting conversation. We had a lot of fun. And I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff on my paper. I think we're going to be doing this again. It was a lot of fun, and I like that. I saw something in the chat over here. CPS flow hood is rated for a bathroom fart fan, is what the chat says. So that's Thomas's opinion of CPS flow hood. Like I said, I had I tested this thing a few different times, and it was good with some of the smaller flows. Like I do a register in the ceiling, like a 12 by 4 by 12 or 4 by 10 or whatever you want to say, 10 by 6 register, it would be fine. But when I got to doing like the returns and stuff like that, it was not good because I think what they called it, insertion loss of the hood was so great, it diminished the flow so much, or the way that it was put together didn't have some sort of correcting calculation for the amount of loss that you have. Some of the other hoods I know that they actually measure that loss, they measure that pressure inside the hood and compensate for it, and the powered flow hood will compensate for it. Not perfectly, but pretty well. So that's pretty good. Let's see who we have in the chat here now. We have Duck Worker. We have Camila Marzella Sanchez Garcia. Man, I can only assume that is Genry's wife watching from the other room and learning about flow hoods. I have no idea if that's true. Steve Rogers was here. Thank you. Michael House was here. Oh, man. I didn't see your question, OC. I didn't see it right there. HVAC, let's see what it says. How does he deal with minimum fresh air requirements? So I'm going to write that down. And on a piece of paper that's not completely full with writing. Minimum fresh air requirements. That ought to be enough for me to remember that. Fresh air requirements. Okay. All right. So I can ask him that question either next time or ask him via email and mention it. Jay Cato, what's up? Steve, what's happening? Steve, Residential Basics, Steve. That's what I meant. Domansky. Let's see who else we have in here. Let me go over here to the other side. We had Neil Comparetto and HVAC Dragon. Of course, Thomas is here. The HVAC Grapevine, which I want to say is that Chris Hughes? Is that right? If that's not right, I'm very sorry, but I think that's Chris Hughes. Judging from, I think that's a Facebook group I'm actually in, maybe. I don't go on Facebook much. Don't be insulted. And let's see who else we have in here. Ed Janowak's children are in here. Okay, that's good. Nelik Vids is here. All right. Hughes. All right. I did get it right. Hughes part. It's the Chris part right. I just want to know if I got it right. All right. Got it. Okay, I thought I was right. Good job. I have a feeling that all these guys that are in here get together like regularly and talk about air conditioning, static pressure and stuff like that, and there's like a meeting that goes on. And the room is like full of darkened wooden panels, and they smoke cigars. That's what I picture. Something like that. I think that's exactly what happens, if I had to guess. And I'm guessing, obviously. Okay, so thanks, Genry. Thanks for coming on the show. It's awesome. I look forward to talking to him again sometime. We're going to get on to the skilled trade up, but it's going to be a little bit different tonight. I hope people are listening closely, because it will be different. Okay, so if you want to play the skilled trade up and you want to win this Navac vacuum pump, this isn't a stock photo, this is the real pump. I just had a very nice white background and a very good camera. Okay, so you could win this pump. Someone's gonna be winning this pump tonight, and their face is gonna be like this. That's what it's gonna be like right there. It'll be like, you won the pump. That's what it's gonna be like. All right. So here's what you have to do. All right, I'm going to play a service video here in a minute. It's brand new. No one's seen it. It's something that I just filmed recently. It's long. It is long, so I'm showing the whole thing. You couldn't see the first look at this video. I might not release it separately. I don't know yet. So all the skilled trade up questions are going to be based on this video. And it's not just HVAC. It could be anything. So I wanted a way to make, and here's one of the things I was thinking about here. And Ted's in the chat. Ted is sort of like the inspiration for this. This is sort of similar to what we used to do on Overtime when I was part of the Overtime show. We'd do this sort of thing where Justin would ask these questions, Beaver. So I want to do something similar, but adapt it and change it a little bit. So all the questions are coming from this video. It could be HVAC related. Most of them are HVAC related, but all of them are going to be from this video. Okay, I'm going to bring on 3 different people to play simultaneously, and we're going to rotate between those 3 people. So whenever you see the link, which is going to be at the end of this video, you click it because you could be one of the 3 people. And one of those 3 people is winning a vacuum pump and maybe something else. I don't know. So it's going to be new. It's going to be different, but pay attention to the video, all right, whenever it starts playing. Okay, so let's see. It's a little different than before, so you're going to have to pay attention to this video. All right, let's see. It's Neil C. Vids. He says, who is Nelig? Well, you know, the C and the Neil are connected, you know, so that's why I thought it was, you know, that's why I got that, problem right there. All right. All right. And Will Justice says, I have an extra cigar for you, Zach. I quit smoking. 1 cigar would push me right over the edge. I haven't smoked in probably 15 years almost, or about 15 years. And 1 cigar would literally have me running out to buy Marlboro Lights right afterwards. So I stay far, far away from them. Far, far away from them. It's very, very bad. Very, very bad for you. But I would smoke one in an instant if they were healthy. If someone said cigarettes are no longer bad for you and they're fine, I would go smoke right now. I mean, after all these years. Okay. So I'm going to play the video. Pay attention to the video. When we get on the flip side, close to the end of it, it's long too. It's a long video, so enjoy the fact that it's a service video, and people like watching service videos. And I'm going to play it now. Pay attention. On the other side, we're going to take in 3 people. When you see that link drop in the chat, hit that link. It's going to be coming near the end of the video, so pay attention for it. I'm going to hit this button now. It's going to be a little while. And we're going to see how this plays out. We'll call this experiment. This is going to be an experiment on my end, so we'll see if it's successful or not. But here we go, guys. This is a house where I'm taking off the 2 heat pumps, and they're moving the house, and I'm going to reconnect them, and hopefully they all work because they didn't want to replace them, and that's their decision, but that's what happened. So here we go, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Good morning, guys and girls. I'm heading out to a job where I'm going to remove some condensers so they don't get all stolen while we're waiting for our house to move. And because there's no power, we're going to bring some power with us. We have a generator right here. I have my tools and everything in the back of the truck with my straps, which are flawlessly done. So we're going to head out to this job, remove these 2, I think it's train condensers. And then my brother-in-law, who's doing this job, he's a real estate guy. He's moving this house. He's going to come pick them up so he can store them at his house until the house gets moved. I said house a bunch of times. All right, let's do our catchphrase. Let's make some crap. I'm at the house, except I realize this is not it. It's very similar to this. It is a house with a double driveway, but I'm pretty sure there's not a house next to the house that I was at before. You ever had that feeling where you're trying to remember if you're at the right house? Well, I remember that this is not the right house now. They say we still have power on and you are on surveillance. Well, that is false because there's no meter base in there. So there's no meter in there, in the meter base is what I mean. So they're lying because they stole the fence on both these houses. The back door has been smashed, but the air conditioners are still there. Those thieves, although proficient, are also stupid. This is what I like. Whenever you can drive your truck right back to where the units are. Like I said, we're just going to remove these bad boys. There's no power, so I'm going to be pumping the refrigerant into the condenser with the recovery machine just to preserve all the refrigerant. And then we're gonna get rid of that. Get these out of here. It looks like it's been a repair done, guys. Oh man, extra parts. You know, these are worth money at the scrapyard if you save them. They used to be worth like a few bucks. I don't know what they're worth now because they have copper windings in them. Of course, this stuff isn't worth much. But thieves are dumb, guys. Let me show you. Let me show you guys how dumb thieves are. Not that you guys need to know. And it looks like there's our restroom for today. Over here, I'm gonna zoom in. See these 4 posts which were fencing? There was fencing in between those posts. Well, they stole the fencing, but they left the air conditioners. Thieves are dumb. Well, looks like the technicians weren't all that much more smarter than the thieves we've been dealing with. Hey, what could go wrong there, guys? What could go wrong there? My cat, he's not feeling well. Ooh. Looks like we got ourselves a waspy. We have to be very careful. I put my gloves on because we're about to kill his butt. He's gonna have to die. Alright, guys. Everybody's gonna be... Well, bad turn of events for you guys. A crushing loss. Well, I just want you guys to know I released those guys back into the wild and they're fine. Alright, no more wasps. That's good. No light on the defrost board, as should be the case. No power to the unit. Should be no power to the house. Of course, we always check that because you never know. There's been people that jumped out services out here in the country before. You want to be really careful. All right, I have the Meturk MK06 here. I think it's just basically like Fluke. I mean, you guys can comment. I think it's basically the same as Fluke. It's facetious. Okay. No volts there. We go here. We'll go down to ground. Of course, the ground is a screw. Let's see where it terminates down here. Alright, so nothing there. And nothing there. Okay. Checking them individually to ground is a must because you never know. Sometimes you get what's L1 and L2 power. Instead of getting L1 and L2, you have a corrupted breaker electrical panel where it'll actually be L1 and L1. So if you check between them, it's 0 volts potential. But if you check to ground, it's 120 still. So you can still get zapped. So just something to be aware of. Where's my hitting screwdriver? I don't know. It's alright. We're going to take these wires off here in just a second. Go ahead and loosen this up. Alright, it's nice and loose. Let me undo these wire nuts. Nope. It's expeditious. I made it into the trash container from here, which is about 6 feet away. Oh, 1 for 2, 1 for 3. All right, it went downhill after that. Take this off. Make sure you put that lock nut back on it so you can preserve it if you need to. I guess we'll take the whips off too, probably. We don't have to do that today. So make sure we get the expensive stuff off today. Oh my gosh. Trying to get this. Oh yeah, okay. Good grief. All right, we'll do that in a minute. It looks like it's gonna be hard. I like that there's insulation on the whip down here. Look at this. Insulation on the whip. What's that for, I wonder? Just somebody just making sure all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. Now we have our low voltage down here. Let's see if anything's out of the ordinary. All right, we have, well, I have red to brown. Red to brown. I'm gonna use this as a reference video now. We have orange to orange, yellow to yellow, blue to blue. So that's our orange is our reversing valve, yellow is our compressor, blue is our common. Red to brown, must have been something happened to the red wire because you see it's used, but they're not using it now. So red to brown, black to white. So, and what we'll do with this, because we have plenty of thermostat wire, is we'll cut it off here, so we'll know exactly what the connections were, and there's plenty of wire over here to remake the connections. That way we don't have to worry about trying to remember all that stuff. Now we're gonna shut down the valves. That was pretty loose. Liquid line, suction line, or we like to call them. We usually identify them, and oh, that's very loose. Good grief. I don't think I even needed a wrench for that. It's got a quarter turn valve on the suction side, like a lot of trains do. Well, these, I'll see if I get the last one by hand. Watch, it won't. It'll be like on really hard. Yeah, see, that's what you get for making predictions. Okay, so we're gonna shut both of these valves. We can do this one with the liquid line, or with the and on the suction line, we can use the wrench. And that one's closed. To go get the service tool for this one. I think I might have a service tool in here. I need to. Sure, I'm not positive. It's probably with my copper supply, so I'll go grab that. But I do have in my box here an actual fitting. Lesson learned. I should have a service tool in this Vito bag, but for some reason I put it with the copper supply. So let me go grab that. I have my little box here. I got this Hillmore one. I think I got this from TrueTech. Hillmore offset one. Close it up. So the idea is we're gonna pump the refrigerant from the line set back into the condenser itself with the recovery machine. If not, for whatever reason, we can just recover it. Either way. But if we don't have to involve the recovery cylinder, that'd be good. I always make a mess everywhere I go. Just the way I am. Can't help it. So, we have two ports here. We can pump it into suction line or the liquid line. Or both. We can do whatever we want. Let's see. Let's think about which one's going to be better. Oh my gosh. The one we can get off probably is better. So, we pump it into, and what we have is this line is going to be going directly out of the unit. Since we don't have a reversing valve energized, it should be heading straight out of the unit because hot gas, because we don't have that reversing valve energized, so we're not in cooling. So pumping it into the suction line should be the way to go. I hope I'm thinking about that right. I'm sure guys out there can tell me if I'm wrong. The unit's in okay shape. They are preserving this unit, which is their right as Americans. But hopefully it doesn't have any issues. These units are pretty good, so usually they don't have any issues, or they have minimal issues compared to others. All right, I have my two hoses hooked up to the unit itself. I have the new one-way dryer. It's an HH dryer from Sporlan. It's flare instead of sweat, so I can use it for recovery. One way, I guess you could use biflow too, just so you don't have to worry about the one-way thing, because I noticed on my last one, it kind of wore off, and it was a little tricky on how to figure out which way it was going. Go ahead and take the flare side off of this, one side on here, and it's going to go this side into the recovery machine. And I need a shorter hose, because right now I'm using one of these hoses, just a long hose. I'm going to bleed this thing out, open up these valves, let the refrigerant into the manifold, open up the manifold, open up here, so it's all the way down into this hose, and I'm going to start bleeding it out while I put it on into the recovery machine. Get all the air out of the tube, and we should be good. Alright, so now we're going to get the other hose, pipe it back over here, Go ahead and bleed it all the way through the machine so we can make sure there's no air in it, so we don't get any contaminants. It'll also be cleaned by the dryer. This is the generator I'll be using. It's the Genry GP5500. These are the connections it has. A 240 volt, 120, another 120. It looks like it's been run at 123 hours. That's all hurricane time. So should be good, and we're close enough where I can just get one cord out, power up the recovery machine. We have the NRDD recovery machine from NAVAC. I'll show you that a little bit closer. Go ahead and get that refrigerant pumped across so we can cut these things loose before someone else does. Try to remember my generator. Let's unplug for a second. My generator procedure. Now we need to turn it on. Here. We're set on choke. When you start choking and go to run, I'm going to get up in here and do this. There's a fuel valve. Let's open that up. So we should be able to start it up. It's got about half a tank of gas, which should be good enough for us. So I probably had to get up in the truck here in order to get leverage on it, which I can now do because I've done the defattening process. All right, let's see if we can't crank this sucker up. Watch it not start. Yep. Let me make sure I got everything turned on. Check to start with. We've got it. Oh my gosh. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to braze these shut, open up the cores here so the gas can escape from inside the pipe instead of building up pressure. I guess I'm going to use this right now. I have a little brass O-ring cap with a Schrader tool built into it. I like those because when I can't find my Schrader tool, bam, there they are. All right, got my little copper box here, copper tools in it. And I just wanted to say, I was using that, and I don't use it too often because I've had a Yellow Jacket one for a long time, which is great. But NAVAC's tubing cutters are pretty daggone good too. That thing's pretty nice. My Yellow Jacket one's like, I don't know, 10 years old or something probably. But this one's like butter. This is NTC 13 3/16 through 1 3/8. Really nice tool. So let's get down close here and we'll take a look at this pipe as I get it ready. Okay, so we're going to clean the end of it off, both of them. Because my feeling is it's probably going to have some refrigerant escaping through that valve if I don't do this, just because the valve's not perfect, it's older. So that's the idea. Now by the time the valve blows out. Crunch these things up. Still have plenty of room to cut it. Angle it up so I can get to it brazen wise a little bit easier. Have some water here. I'm actually using the non-refrigeration technologies wet rag right now. I think my wet rag's back at the house. Get some water in there. Let it soak up there a little bit. Usually I have a rag or a little bucket, but my little bucket's non-existent. It's just another tip for the day there. Get your bucket ready. So we can probably wrap them both. It's a pretty long rag. And we should be pretty good as far as heat protection. going in and out of there. Come back around. The larger one's gonna have more heat on it. Make sure you back it away too, or else that gas that's turning into steam on the rag will be kind of a pain. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna braze these things up. Like I said, these are open, so gas doesn't build up in there and make it hard to braze. I need to do a better job of cleaning my tools up. That's my weakness, guys. Tool cleanup. My torches. That first notch is a bear. So look at that. I got my things in zip ties. Let me get one out before I struggle to do so while I'm shooting something up. I could probably start a flash fire here with the dust. It won't take long when we're talking about these little ends right here to heat it up. This will protect the pipe from obstruction and hold the pressure in there in that valve just in case it does leak. Even though that's not a very good situation if it does leak, because that means the vacuum on this thing is eventually going to be kind of difficult. 3/8 pipe's only going to take a few seconds to get hot enough. Drop some extra on top there. Here goes $20, $30. All right, there she is. Some of you out there saying, man, I braise way better than that, and you are correct. Good job. You're the man. Now look what I found in there. Mr. Snaky, I sentenced you to death by electrocution. All right, so we're back now. All right, there's a whole bunch of dudes down there. Let's see. I know I said 3, but look how many are here. Let me count how many questions I actually have. First, I need to put up this disclaimer for everybody to see. This is a disclaimer for the show right here. I want everybody to read along with me. Disclaimer. This game may not be fair. You may not win even though you believe you should have. The winner may taunt you justifiably. If you bring up things I did wrong, this is during the video, I may eject you from the game. It's because of my low self-esteem. If you find spelling errors, just keep it to yourself, which is, I do that a lot. I'm not a very good speller. But I am, hey, I'm giving away vacuum pumps, so y'all are going to have to forgive me. All right, so I said we're going to bring 3 people in here, and now there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row here waiting. So I don't think we can play 9. Let me count how many questions I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take 5. 5. Okay. I'm going to take 5. So the very first person that popped up in here is, I think his name is pronounced Jazzodrak or something like that. It's Eddie Jazzodrak. Ed, are you there? I don't think Ed looks very stationary. Ed, can you hear me? I don't think Ed can hear me. Ed, can you hear me? Ed. Goodbye, Ed. Okay, Ed's gone. Ed was non-responsive. That's not going to work. All right. Next up, we have Mike. Hello, Mike.
What's up, Zach?
All right, Mike, I'm going to turn your mic down just a little bit. I should do this in advance, but I can't. Okay. What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm very good. So where are you currently located doing HVAC? What part of the world?
Washington State, man.
Oh, that's about as far away as you can get. All right.
Yeah,
Washington
just
State.
about.
That's it's about 3,000 miles from where I'm at.
Yeah, the other best coast, man.
Yeah. That covers all of them. And all right, so Mike, you're going to be playing this game. And did you watch the video?
Heck yeah, I watched that video, man.
All right, I watched the video. Good. All right. Watch the video. You're good. All right, just hold on 1 second there. Our next contestant's going to be Jason Hines. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just going to lower the mic level. Man, I should do this, better next time as far as the mic level. You got to do it every time when someone pops in. All right, Jason, where are you at?
Florida.
Florida, man, just like Genry. What part of Florida are you in?
Claremont, Groveland area.
Claremont. Oh, man, you work for Kalos?
A while back, yes, I did.
No kidding. It's a small world. Man.
Yes, sir.
Work for Kalos. Yeah, you had to leave there probably because Brian's like a tyrant, right?
No, Brian was the best.
Oh, my gosh. No one will say Brian's awful, no matter how many times I ask people. Okay. All right, Brian was probably a nice guy. That's true. Okay, so you watched the video?
I did up until I clicked the button.
All right, excellent. I mean, just don't pick up any of the habits, but just watch the video closely. That's all. I mean, don't do anything that I actually did, like I did it. All right, our next contestant is going to be Evan. Evan, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, excellent. Short and to the point. I
For
like
sure.
it. All right, I'm going to quickly get the mic here. Good. And all right, so whereabouts are you?
Michigan.
Michigan, man, we're all over the place. All right, we got North Central, Northwest, Southeast, and me. All right, Evan. So let's, you watch the video?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. I mean, like I said, don't pick up any of the habits. Just try to remember what happened. Our fourth contestant's going to be, look at that. You made it back.
Hey, I'm back.
You're gonna win it this time, right?
Yeah, this time I'm taking it all. Sorry, fellas.
Like in advance. All right. So they're gonna try extra hard because they now perceive you as cocky. Okay. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I kind of set the tone on purpose.
Well, so I can ask where you are, but you got the Royals on. So is that where you're from, Kansas City?
That's where I'm from, yeah, but I'm currently in Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Houston doesn't have any teams that are worth following. You have to go back to Kansas City, right?
Yeah, when you growing, you kind of can't switch teams. You kind of
Hey,
with the one you with.
I know people switch teams during a game based on the score. So I mean, it can happen.
No.
All right, so you're ready to win this game. All right, I'm writing down your name on my little board here. I'll explain why in here in a second. We have our final person here. All right, it's gonna be Kyle. Kyle, how's it going?
Good.
All right, so whereabouts are you at?
Washington State.
Washington State. We already have one of those, so we're not gonna need you tonight, Kyle. Good night. No, I'm just kidding. We needed someone from like the Boston area or something to complete this, or we have everybody else. So, guys, y'all watched the video. You probably remembered 100% of what happened. I know I don't even remember, and I made the video. So, good luck on that. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to ask you questions about the video one by one. So, I'm going to bring each one of you in. We're going to rotate through. We're going to ask 20 questions. So, that gives each one of you 4 questions. You can choose. Well, actually, no, I won't let you choose. We're going to do easy ones, medium ones, and then ones that make you want to pull your hair out and throw it on somebody. So we're going to get started right in the same order that we've introduced you. So I'm going to take everyone else out real quick, but you'll be back. So we'll be right back, Kyle. Be right back there, Kansas City Royals. And let's see. Boop, boop. And everybody else is gone. We're down with just Mike. All right, Mike, you ready to start this thing off?
Oh, yeah, man. Come on.
All right, here's the very first question for Mike. This is an easy one, so to speak. I mean, watching a video and remembering everything that happened, that's hard. So,
Yeah, my memory is horrible, man. So hopefully I get this.
I have a feeling you'll get this one. All right. What color is my truck? Look at Mike's like,
Yeah.
I have no idea what color your truck is.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess red, man.
Well, you know what? That's exactly right. It is red. That's exactly right.
Right on.
So, see how easy that was? Easy question
Hey.
gets you 1 point.
Hey, I was stressed out for a second.
You're all right, Mike. You made it, man. You got 1 point. You got the question right. So we're going to bring in Jason. Let's go on to question number 2. Mike, you'll be right back. Poop. See how fast that was? This is great. All right, Jason. You saw that truck was red. He knew.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy question.
All right, that was an easy one. That's probably the easiest of all the questions. So I want to bring up the disclaimer again. This game may not be fair. It may not be fair. So if you think your question was too hard, I mean, life isn't fair. It rains on the just and the unjust. So, all right, here's your first question, and this is worth 1 point. And here it is. What type brazing outfit am I using? What type brazing outfit? And to set the stage here, we're comparing like air acetylene, MAP gas, oxygen acetylene, those type of things. Not like the brand.
Oh, okay. Oxygen acetylene.
Oxygen acetylene. Well, I'll be daggone if that isn't exactly right. It's oxygen acetylene. So you got that one right as well. The easy questions turn out to be easy. All right, I'm going to see you in just a minute. You're going to fall away. Watch this Thanos snap. He's gone. All right. Evan, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So here we go. Evan, let's get you a nice, easy question here. And here it is. And you can tell me whether or not you think this is actually easy. Remember the disclaimer. What HVAC manifold did I use? What manifold?
Yellow
did I use?
jacket, what, P51s?
We will accept Yellow Jacket P51. The specific is P51-870, but I will accept P51s. That's absolutely. All right. So everybody's doing really good so far. I did not make the game hard enough, it appears, but that's okay. That's probably good for you guys if I didn't make it hard enough. So, Evan, I'll see you in just a second. All right. And here we go. All right.
Nah, I'm not out on me.
Now, you said I'm going to win this game.
Yeah.
That starts right now.
I was talking
Okay.
about life. I don't want to talk about this.
Talk about life. I hope you're
Game
paying
of life.
attention. were you
I
paying
hope I
attention?
was too.
Well, here you go. Here, we're gonna know right now whether or not you were paying attention. Here it is. Here's your question.
All right.
What animal did I find in the meter base? What animal did I find in a meter base? It wasn't a giraffe. If that's what you were going to say, that would have been wrong.
Oh man, I don't know.
What the world?
Meter base?
I'm going to win the game.
I know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna say a lizard or something. I don't know.
A lizard.
I was in and out. That
Well,
my wife
you were,
watching TV show. I'm watching you. What we got?
well, if you're watching the Islanders play, like the other people in the chat, you would have missed the fact that it was a snake. There was a snake in there that got fried, fricasseed. He was killed. But hey, that's all right. The harder questions are worth more points. Hope you get the harder question. All right. So,
yeah.
Here we go. Oh, that didn't work at all. Thanos messed up that time. All right, here we go. We've got Kyle. Kyle.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
That's good, Kyle. That's good. You look very well groomed. The beard is sculpted perfectly. I don't know what that means for this game. Nothing. I don't know. My beard isn't shaved at all. I have problems with personal hygiene, I guess. So I'm going to give you this question. We're going to break the ice with it. You just go ahead and knock this one out of the park, okay? Here we
I'll
go.
try.
Oh, you got this, Kyle. I'm going to build you up so it's impossible for you to lose. Here's Kyle's first stumbling block on his way to victory tonight. What brand systems am I removing from the house?
That'd be 2 trains.
2 trains. Was it actually trains? Yeah, it was trains. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. So, all right, everybody's got a point except for the guy who said he was going to win. He's down there smiling. I can see you guys off the screen, and he's down there like, yep, that's what happens. He's boasting. But All right, Kyle, we're going to see you in just a second.
Okay.
All right, let's bring back Mike for round 2. Let's see. Mike is back. So here's what we're going to do. In fact, let me bring each one of you guys back in for just a second. Because, all right, so we went through the first round. One of you crashed and burned. I'm not going to say any names. Okay, I'm just going to say. But after the first round, all right, 4 of you have points. What would one of you say if I said that I'll give you this prize just to leave right now, a hat and a shirt. Take the hat and the shirt and leave the game right now, but you get a prize. Any of you going to take that?
Oh, man.
Hat and a shirt. Man, these hats are really nice. Look, they're ventilated for the heat. Oh, I can't see it. They're ventilated for the heat.
Trucker
It's new.
style.
The cardboard is still there. It's trucker style. That's right. And this great shirt. That's the game that you're playing right now. Oh, my gosh.
Oh yeah,
Is that
that's
tempting for anybody?
You
Tempting?
guys need to jump on that.
Yeah. Yeah, these other people need to
Yeah, I
take
like
advantage of
hats.
that.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to take it and get out of the game?
Go ahead, y'all. One of y'all take.
Come
Hell
on,
no.
look at this. Hey, look.
I need all the help I can get.
Look at that. See? It's really nice. Okay. Anybody? Final offer?
I'm not doing it.
No.
Nobody's doing it. You guys are above that. Get that out of here. Okay. All right. You guys are above that. Let's see if you're above the next one when I do it. We'll see. All right. Let's go to our next question. All right, let's drop everybody else out real quick. And we're going to bring back Mike. All right, Mike. Let's do this. Let's see. Let's get a level 2 question. Level 2 is worth 2 points. First one worth 1 point. Level 2 is worth 2 points. All right, here we go. Let's see what you say. See how closely you are watching. What color low voltage wire from the AHU, or from the inside, is connected to the heat pump's red wire?
Yeah, it was
color?
brown.
Brown? Dude, you are right on the money. It's brown. Like a boss, you were watching. All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. You got that one. 2 points for you on that. Very nice. You didn't need to take the hat. Yeah, that's good,
I
man.
like
All right.
that hat, man. I almost
nice
took
hat.
the deal.
It's a nice. The deal gets better as the night goes on. So if you're able to hold out a little bit longer, the deal gets better. But the bad part is if you hold out too long, you win nothing. So I mean that's the bad part of the deal. But good job. All right, we're gonna go over to Jason. Jason's back. All right, you saw him. He did pretty good. So here's your question right here. Play my music that none of you can hear. But what old part is sitting on the ground that I say is worth money at the scrapyard?
Well, there's quite a lot of parts there, Zach.
But there's one in particular that I pointed at and said it's worth money at the scrapyard.
I would say that would be the evaporator motor, fan motor.
Say fan motor, and I will accept fan motor. I think it was a condenser fan motor, but I don't think that I said that, and it wouldn't have been apparent unless I did. So that's exactly right. Fan motor works for me.
I'll take
Got 2
that.
points. Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to keep on rolling this thing. You keep on going. Doing a good job, Jason. We're going to bring up Evan. Evan, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Let's see here. And the chat, I didn't turn the chat off. So you guys in the chat don't help anybody out, or I have to turn it off. So hopefully they won't do that. All right. Let's see here. Here's your question. Good luck. What model Generac generator am I using? Ivan's down there like, I knew that the whole time. He didn't ask me that question.
Oh man, it's either
What model
3500 or a 55.
Which one? You have to ask yourself, is that the kind of guy who would even buy a 3500?
Yeah, I
Or
don't.
he really want the 85, or like a
the
whole house
55.
generator.
I think it's the 55.
But is that the exact model generator?
Oh,
The model number for the generator? I have to have the exact model.
5500.
5500. Is that your final answer? Let's
It's
see.
gonna have to be.
Well, technically speaking, it is the GP 5500, so I can't accept it, or else these other people down here will want to kill me and you, probably. But that's okay because we have more rounds, so you can definitely earn more. And the hard question is worth even more points. So, and people are going to really crash and burn on that one, so don't worry. Evan, I'll see you in just a minute. Did you know
Move
the answer
over
to that?
every time for Ivy. Yeah, I did.
You knew the answer to that one. Oh, man.
Let's see if I know the answer to this one.
That's what I was going to say. Let's see if you know the answer to this one. All right, let's see here. All right. Since you knew the answer to that one, I have a list over here. I'm going to pick this specific question for you because it's not dissimilar to that question. Let's see if you know this one. Here we go.
Oh, no.
What model NAVAC recovery machine am I using? Do you know that one? It's very similar in nature, so I have no doubt that you know this one. Come on now. What are you thinking?
Oh man, I don't know. Oh man.
Venture a guess. Come on now.
I take it back. I didn't know the other one. Give me a no.
I'm sorry.
I'm burning all the way on this.
Do you not have any idea? And I like that. No guess?
No, I don't. No, NV something.
It's in fact, it is the NRDD. The NRDD.
Oh, yeah. No way I was getting that.
It's okay because there's still a level 3 question here. It's going to be worth 3 points. I can put you at least in a tie with whoever's already gone. So
Right.
Don't worry.
I knew the wire was brown. I needed that one.
See, that's how it works in this game. You know the other people's stuff. Like I knew that one, and when it gets into like crunch time, it's like that's the one time that I had used the bathroom. Thank you. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll be right back with you, man. Let's see. Boop. And pop. Kyle. What's up, Kyle?
Hey.
You got the first question right. See you about the second question. Let's see here. What are we going to ask Kyle? Here we go. Here's the question. What brand service tool am I using? What brand service tool? I did mention it in the video what the brand was.
Hillmore? No.
Dude, that is exactly right. It is Hillmore.
Yeah.
Like a boss. All right, man. Very nice. So you got both of them right. All right, so right now the score is Mike has 3, Jason has 3, Evan has 1. I'm not going to say anything about, you know where we're at. And Kyle, you have 3. I'm just messing with them. Okay, so let's bring everybody back one more time, and now let's see if Ivan changes his mind. Okay, so we've gone through 10 questions here. Everybody's had 2 questions. I offered you guys a hat and a shirt. You were above that. I threw it on the ground. What about this nice Knipex little Cobra water pump pliers right here? Let me take them out here in case you guys are like, what exactly is that? They're tiny. They're little, but they're Knipex, so you know they're good. And they get into a lot of spaces. Does anyone want to leave for these bad boys? Anybody? Dangle them a little bit? Nothing? Really? All right. Ivan, did you see that I held up the pliers?
Yeah. I don't know
I'll throw in the hat, too. Does anyone want this and a hat? Okay, all right. I'm not throwing these. These are too expensive. I can throw the hat. I paid for the hat. I know they cost $8 a piece in bulk. All right. So let's get some level 3 questions here. Let's do Kyle, Ivan, Evan, Jason. All right, we have Mike back here. Level 3.
Yeah.
I like the guy in the chat says, Neil C. Vid says pliers and a hat, he's out. He would have taken the pliers and the hat. So they're really nice pliers, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see if we can't find a nice, really painful question here. They're all painful here from here on out. All right, here we go. This is your questions, level 3, worth 3 points. What chapter number of air conditioning and refrigeration repair is displayed in the intro video? My video intro, goes all the way back to when I first started making videos several years ago. I'm opening the air conditioning and refrigeration repair book, and a chapter is exposed. What chapter is it?
Man, you got me. I can't think of it.
It's a tough one. It's a tough question. I mean, you can always guess, but if you know, you know. So.
I'm going to say chapter 7.
Chapter 7 is not correct. What the interesting thing is, you're about to say 4, which would have been correct.
I
'Cause
was
you went
about to say 4.
4
man.
was correct. It's like the capacitor on capacitors or something like that. It was
Oh,
correct.
shit.
Hey, that's okay. That's all right. You got 3 points. You're still officially in the lead. You're tied, but you're still officially in the lead here. So
Yeah.
just hang tight, and we'll have Jason come back on here. Jason, did you know that one?
I did. It was capacitors and fuses. I was
Dang, it was. You're right.
not quite for sure the chapter number, but I was going to guess 4.
Man, that's pretty good. You guys know your stuff. All right. Let's see if you know this one. You know, it's always the other guy's question. Let's see what happens here. How many run hours does my generator have at the start of the call? How many run hours?
You had him up there. You had him up there as like 225. Dang it. 225, 245. I don't know.
What is your official guess?
Ah,
Because you said a couple different numbers, so I got to get an official guess or official answer here.
all right, 235.
235. It's not correct. It's 123. 123 were the run hours on the
okay.
generator.
Okay.
But the questions get harder here. Okay, so that's all right. You're still officially tied for the lead, too. So we're going to go on, and we're going to talk to Evan here. Evan, it's your chance to come back and take the lead now. Today's the day. All right, today.
Sure.
This is it right here. This is your question. You got this. I just know it. Let's dispense with the pleasantries. Let's just get your points here, and let's move about our business. What brand multimeter do I use? It's not Fluke. This one comes with a hint. It's not really a hint. What brand multimeter do I use? What do you think? What do you think?
Oh, I can't remember the brand.
Any guesses?
Man,
No guesses?
I have no idea.
The brand is Meturk, and it's not Fluke. It's definitely not Fluke. I just want everybody to know that. So, all right, the level 3 questions are very difficult. It looks like. So we're gonna go on to the guy who's gonna win this thing, and see if he can get the level 3 question.
I need this. Let's go.
You know, you are correct. You need this one. This is the one you need right here. Okay, that is true. All right.
I need it.
All right, so here we go with your question. Let's see if you get this one. What model Navac tubing cutter do I show off? Look, see, do I show off? That is incorrect. It's do I show off during the call. No one mentioned anything per my disclaimer. Remember? Okay.
Yeah, it was the I want to say NV something 66 or something. Right? Oh man.
Is your answer the MD66?
NV. Man, I got that tubing cutter in my flaring kit.
All right. You own this tubing cutter? Come on.
Yeah, I own that tubing cutter in my flaring kit from a mini split. Oh man. NV some 66. Man, I think it's 66 though. I don't know, Zach. Oh,
Is that your final answer, the NV66?
Yeah, let's go with it.
Well, the tubing cutter is the NTC 13.
Yeah, I was all the way out. Like,
Well, you got the
all
N.
way
No,
out.
it had letters and numbers in it, so
Yeah.
you had that part, and you had one of the letters. So
Well,
it's
I
all
get
good.
the 66 from that.
I don't know where the 66 came from. That came from a different part of the video. That was a model number of that train unit or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, just hold tight, and we got to get to Kyle. Kyle, you could pull ahead here. This is your time now, Kyle, and frankly, it has to be because no one's got one of these right yet. I'm starting to feel like I made them too difficult. These will be adjusted as time goes by. All right, so here's your question. Level 3, we're at 3 points, and here we go. What color is the potential relay? What color is the potential relay? Ivan knows. Yeah, he's down. I can actually see the other guys on the screen, and he mouthed it out, and I could definitely tell you that he was correct.
It'll be black or white. I'll go white.
You're gonna go white. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Look at you. That's exactly the right answer. It is white.
Nice.
You got it. Look at you. Oh, look, you're now in first place. You have 6 points. We asked, 15 questions. There's only really not that much left. I mean, so you're looking pretty good here. We all did number 1 questions. We'll bring everybody back here. We all did number 2. We all did number 3. All right, heavy hitters. Who will leave this game now for the Knipex pliers and the shirt and the hat? Anybody? Shirt and a hat? Come on, the shirt and the hat's not toxic. Come on, somebody take it. Nobody. Okay.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm not gonna make it. I thought he was gonna throw something else in there, but he's not. So I'm gonna take it with you.
Well, so you're taking. All right, you're taking the stuff here. You got the Knipex pliers, and you got the hat, and the shirt. So, all right, you're gonna disappear now, and you need to email me your information to hvacshoptalk@gmail.com. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, fellas. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. Enjoy the stuff. All right. Well, he said I was reaching for something else. I was reaching for something else. He should have stayed longer. But I'll reach over for you guys. You guys right here. Who wants to leave for a Vito MB2 Blackout Edition bag?
Ooh.
Anybody? Blackout. As Shannon says, you won't be able to find it in the crawl space.
I'll definitely take that.
You'll take that? For sure. You going to take it? You want to leave the game?
For sure. I think I'm a little too far behind.
All right, Evan.
Yeah.
Just hvacshoptalk@gmail.com, and you got yourself a Blackout MB2 bag, okay? It's nice. All right. So.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Don't forget to email, and I'll send it right out to you. Ivan's down there like, I could have had all that crap. He's right. He could have. Ivan, you left too early. All right. So we have 3 people left. Let's see. We have Mike has 3 points. All right. Jason has 3 points, and Kyle, our heavy hitter, has 6 points. So, all right. There's no other prizes to bribe you guys with. That's it. There's just a vacuum pump. So there's only a few questions left, and we're just going to go right through them. We're going to make each question, because they're all varying types, worth 2 points. All right? Here we go. Let's go ahead and get Mike up here. Whoop, and whoop. Let's start with Mike. Let me see what I got here. All right. Here's your question, Mike. What did hooligans steal from the front yard?
Yeah, did they steal the fence?
Did they? Did they, Mike?
Yeah, I think they stole the fence, man.
Well, they did steal the fence. That's exactly right. So you are correct. So we're going to add to your total. And hooligans is interchangeable with ne'er-do-wells. That's the same thing. So just in case you're wondering. All right, so you're up to 5 points here. We're running out of questions. We're going to go right over to Jason. Here we go. Boop and boop. All right, Jason. So we're just going to keep going right down the line here with our level 2 residual questions. And here you go. Let's see what you say. What brand drill do I use to take the unit panels off? What brand drill?
Ryobi.
Well, that's a good guess based on who you're talking to. That is a good guess, but it is actually rigid. It's a little rigid 12-volt drill.
Yeah.
But hey, I like where you're going with that. I love Ryobi, even though I just killed a circular saw that was there, so I was a little disappointed. That's a different thing for a different day. Okay, we're gonna keep going to Kyle. Be right back. Kyle, you're in the lead with 6. Let's see what you say here. Let's see what we have for you. And remember, disclaimer, guys, in case you might be thinking any of this. There, read the disclaimer. It will not be fair. All right. That's only just to cover my butt. All right, here we go, Kyle. I got your question right here. What color low voltage wires run to the reversing valve? What color low voltage wires? And there's 2 of them. I will tell you there's 2, which I was supposedly going to put in that question, I guess.
Orange and blue.
Orange and blue. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That is, that's the right answer. It is orange and blue. That's exactly right. You're up to 8, bro. You're up to 8.
Nice.
All right, let's get back in here, guys. Let's have a little powwow. All right, so it's 8 to 5 to 3. All right. You know, I can give another hat away and a shirt if anyone wants to leave now. If anyone wants to leave, Jason. If anyone wants to leave, Jason. I'm just trying to help here.
How many questions are left?
Let's see. Let's see what we got. There's only like maybe either 1 or 2. It might be just one
Oh
more.
my
I mean,
goodness.
mathematically, you might want to take this, but I think you should strongly consider taking this.
Well, I haven't seen what this is yet, Zach.
Well, it's the hat and
We
the
got-
shirt. The hat and the shirt. You can't
Oh, I
see it's
thought-
off the screen.
I thought you was going to add more too. You're like grabbing some.
No, I'm taking. Well, you know what? All right. Well, let's see here. Okay.
Yep.
The closest thing to me that I can possibly tell you is I can give you Gas Heating by Jason Obshoot. That's what I can give you.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
So, you want to take it?
I'll take it.
All right, let's take it. All right, good deal. A shirt. The people that win, tell me your shirt size too when you email me. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take it easy, man.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Good luck to everybody. He took it. He took it. I might have written in that book already, so I'm sorry. But he kept pushing me to give away something. I'm just kidding. You know, he's going to enjoy the book. All right, so we have 2 people left here. So we have Mike. Mike, you got 5. And we have Kyle with 8. So there's a chance, Mike. A couple questions, you can take the lead here. So let's see if let's see if you're heading in that direction. Actually, here we go. Let me find. All right, here we are. We're winding down to the end. 2 questions left apiece. So if you don't get this question, Kyle wins the game. So you got to get this right.
Mm-hmm.
Vacuum pump, Mike. It's really nice. It's new. I didn't just put one of mine in the box. You know, one of my old ones. Which seems like a good idea now. I could save a bunch of money. But no, I'm just kidding. What brand dryer do I use for recovery? What brand dryer?
It's Portland.
Oh, that's exactly right. You're still in this game. All right. All right, Mike, you're up to 7. You're only 1 behind now. So just Kyle, crash and burn. That's what you're hoping, okay? Just remember, Kyle, please crash and burn. All right. Kyle?
Nate,
Don't crash and burn, Kyle.
hope not.
Pressure's on. Okay, let's see. Let me get you a question here. All right, here you go. Here's your question. Worth 2 points. He's down by 1. This is worth 2. The situation is, if you get this right, it's over. All right? Here you go. What system component is sitting on top of one of the heat pumps when I walk up to the job?
That would be a capacitor.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
And you know what? You are exactly right. It is a capacitor. Mike, he won the vacuum pump. Mike, there's no way I'm not sending you something, Mike, but I'll surprise you, okay? Because I'm not having
All
the
right.
one guy who stuck it out not get anything. That's just horrible. So you email me, and I'll send you something, okay?
All right.
And let's keep trying to win, all right? Keep trying to win every week.
Hey, what's the email, man?
HVAC Shop Talk at gmail.com. Let me see if I have it up, if I can put it on the screen. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a little banner real quick. Let me just HVAC Shop Talk at gmail.com. Okay. And I'm going to put that up on the screen. That's the email. And I'm going to let you go so I can talk to Kyle here. And I'll see
All
you
right,
on the
man.
next one, okay?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
No problem. You did good. Good job. All right. So we have Kyle. Kyle, you won the vacuum pump, man. Do you need a vacuum pump? Do you even want this? You want to donate it to a trade school? That's very big of you, Kyle. Which trade school? I'm just
I
kidding.
can always use a vacuum pump.
That's awesome. Congratulations. It's a 7 CFM Navac vacuum pump. So they're really good vacuum pumps. I like the battery-powered ones. They're really cool. This one's corded. So,
Yeah.
But if you plug it into a generator, it's like a battery-powered if you put gas in the generator. So, but send me your information. Where did you live again?
Washington State.
Yeah, that ought to be about $1 million to ship it to you. Okay. I'm just going to drive it to your house. It'll be cheaper. No, I'm just kidding. So, of course, it'll be about a week for it arrives probably, but let me know when you get it and you actually use it and give me some feedback on whether you like it or not, okay?
Will do.
All right, Kyle, congratulations. I'm going to let you go, but good job.
Thanks.
All right. Kyle won big. Good job. Great job. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to take the email down. I'll leave it up for another second or two. And let's look down at our chat. Ivan, man, you guys all got something, though. See, I feel bad when people don't win something, so I exhaust all my prizes so quickly. And, but I'm going to keep doing it. As long as I have stuff to give you guys, I'll keep this game up. I try to go to the tool companies online and hit up my contacts and ask them for if they want to send something. And as long as something is sent, we'll keep playing the exact same way every week. I think it's a hoot, guys, a real hoot. If I don't make a service video that week, I'll put up an old video and we'll do questions on it. But I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think we have a good time. We like to go back and forth. Kyle, you've done it all. And guys can play every week. Great. Mr. Grabaka, you can ask your question about Subcool anytime. Ask your question. It's getting late, though, man. We've been on for a long time. Good grief. Look at that. That took a long time. I didn't realize how long we've been going. So I will tell you guys that I do have some news about a prize that we're going to have maybe next week. So if you guys like vacuum pumps, then you might enjoy winning the brand new Fieldpiece VPX7 10 Fem vacuum pump. Look at my drinks even in the picture. That's going to be our grand prize either next week or an upcoming week, but we're definitely going to have that one, and that is something that's going to be really, really cool because that is brand new. That is their brand new model. I think that's the biggest model that they sell now, so should be a lot of fun. So that's going to be a grand prize coming up real soon. And, of course, we'll still be able to win shirts and stuff like that. And if you win it, you're going to be looking like this. Oh, yeah. I like it. I like it. If you guys haven't already done it, please give a like to the stream. You can share it wherever you want to share it. That'd be great. Anyone that enjoyed the stream or liked it. If you want to catch this interview we did with Genry Garcia earlier, you can catch it as a podcast next week, or you can watch this video again later, of course. So we have a lot of good stuff coming up. We have that vacuum pump. We have a Yellow Jacket vacuum. If you need a vacuum pump, this is the show for you to watch because that seems to be the prize that we're given to give away more than anything else. We have that Navac battery-powered flaring tool. So we have a lot of good stuff. And like I said, as long as I have stuff, we're going to keep playing. When I run out of stuff, we take a break. That's how the game works. So, all right. Well, I am going to take a break real quick. Then I'm going to have some parting words from you guys. So I'll be right back. Refrigeration Technologies make some of the best HVAC chemicals around. And that includes wet rag heat blocking putty that prevents your vital system components from being damaged while you're brazing. Also, there's Nylog, gasket and thread sealant, a variety of uses including sealing up flares, gaskets, and other HVAC joints and connections. Last but not least, there's Viper Aerosol Cleaner. I use it on evaporator coils. It foams up beautifully, does a great job cleaning. So if you need anything in the HVAC chemical arena, choose Refrigeration Technologies. You can find out more at refrigetech.com and purchase at truetechtools.com. Okay, guys, my parting words tonight. We always like to read a little Bible verse at the end, so this one's going to be entitled "Have No Fear." I thought it was a good verse to read. This is Matthew 10:26 through 33. It says, "So have no fear of them, for nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known." People that tend to hide things or do evil acts that are out of view is what we're talking about. What I tell you in the dark, say in the light. And what you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, and not one of them will fall to the ground apart from the Father? But even the hairs on your head are all numbered. Fear not. Therefore you are more valuable than many sparrows. So everyone who acknowledges me, this is Jesus, before men, I also will acknowledge before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, I will deny before my Father who is in heaven. I try to read this every day, guys. This has helped me out more than any service book out there. We all look for things that help us in our way. That's the most helpful thing you're going to find right there. I hope all of you find it or have found it. We had a great show tonight. Genry did a great job. Had a great time talking to him. Skilled trade up. I really enjoyed that. We'll do that again. We'll play for some big prizes, and somebody will always win. I want someone to win every week. And like I said, as long as there's prizes, we're going to keep playing. So anyone who wants to help support the channel, to help with getting prizes and shipping and stuff like that, can do that by becoming a channel member, which is right there on the screen. It's like a join button. Or you can join at Subscribe Star to help donate to the channel, which is also in the video description. There's a link down there. So that's a big help because it really helps out with some of the expenses of playing the game. So, all right, I'm out of here, guys. Catch the podcast next week. We'll be back next week with, I think we're going to have Eric Kaiser talking about system charging, and we'll play this game all over again.